My friends and fellow builders, we've done so much in the first 4 days in getting the biggest piece of the puzzle figured out, which is why am I building what I'm building? What is it that I'm building? Who am I building it for? And how am I supposed to start building it, right? And we went through a lot of iterative phases, ending up with these two examples, if you recall well. One of them generated from my custom GPT prompt, the other one from a remixed application that we covered in day 4. Because again, all great artists steal, I decided to steal this particular design. However, I can see how some of you may be saying, well, this still looks very much like anything else AI generated, right? And I will agree with you on that one. AI does have this consistency with the way it design things, right? So sometimes you want your stuff, or most times you want your stuff to look unique. And that's what today's going to be about. Today is one of the most recent lessons that I've learned, one of the trickier ones, but one of the most valuable ones. I'm going to do my best to pace myself so that you can follow me properly. And we'll take things one step at a time. We're going to be starting from code today. Because guess what? English is the most powerful coding language of 2025 and 2026. But tools like Lovable still prefer code a little bit more, right? So today, we're going to explore two different ways when it comes to starting from code. And just forget about the transcript for a minute and just shift with me right now to the resources tab. Put a pause on the video. Now that you paused and came back, let's go to the resources. And from here, there's two ways to start the lesson. First one is just click on the preview button and browse through some of the templates that I gave you. And agree or disagree with me, but I feel like these look a little bit better than most AI examples that you're seeing on the web, right? So like, okay, I like this one. Maybe this one instead, right? Maybe you just need a landing page, not a finance dashboard. But again, if we learned something in lesson 4, that is that just because this is a finance dashboard, that doesn't mean you can't remix it and make it into something else, right? Which is the main lesson today. There's also a pretty cool use case with Lovable being used for slides. Beautiful transition. So now you may be saying, okay, this is great. You gave me 3 templates, love it. They all look very unique, but don't give me the fish, teach me how to fish myself, right? And that's what we're going to be doing, right? So those of you who are lazy and just don't have enough time maybe on hand today, just download any of the templates you like and then move on to the next step. Those of you who want to know how to find them yourself, 2 different places to do so. Number one is this website called Aura.build. As you can see, that is like a website that features a lot of beautiful design templates in HTML and CSS, but who cares? Yes, Lovable works within React framework, but that doesn't mean it doesn't understand other code bases. And that is the key lesson here. If you have code in any format or any template in any language, take it, use that as an input, right? So I know for a fact that for me to design, let's say something like this, it's not impossible to do with Lovable, don't get me wrong. It's just one of those things that's just going to take a long time for somebody like me who's a bad designer. I just suck at it, in all honesty, right? So like, instead of designing this for myself by myself, I'm just going to go click on this button to use for free and then just click to remix this entire template. This is a template for social media agency landing page, right? But technically, I mean, I can reuse it for anything. If you recall what we did yesterday, with just one, I can repurpose it for a different use case. That is exactly what I'm going to do. All I'm doing now is just taking this HTML code, click on the export button, download HTML, right? I'm just saving this on my computer. Then I'm going into Lovable and I'm going to click attach and attach this as a file, right? Yes, Lovable accepts file attachments as inputs, which is amazing, right? And you can upload up to 10 files. It can be PDFs, it can be any format, it can be images. Today, we're going to be working with code and images a little bit, right? So this first step, we have the HTML template, but no context what the project should be about. So let's go back to the companion and go to the prompts. And let's use this first prompt right here. The reason why I'm using this first prompt is because it's perfect for this type of use case where I'm trying to replicate the page, but I want it to be used for something else, right? So I'm going to copy this, right? I'm going to go into Lovable, and I'm going to delete this part right here because I'm not pasting the code. I'm just giving it a file instead, right? So what I want is things to look a little bit different, talk about automating my marketing website, whatever. I'm just replicating the design, different use case, right? So I'm going to send this prompt away and just let Lovable cook on it while I'm showing you the other way. So quick recap of what we've done, right? We went through these examples, didn't like any of them, wanted to find my own. Went to Aura.build as a marketplace, browsed a little bit, found what I liked, clicked on a button to remix it, downloaded it as code, uploaded that code snippet along with this prompt to let Lovable read it, and then from there, rebuild it with my own narrative in place. You're more than welcome to change these prompts, by the way. If you want to change more text, feel free to do so. You can do that later, though. The key point here is the design. You can change the text very easily later using Visual Editor or anything else. I'm going to show you that as well, by the way. Now, there's another group of you that are watching this saying, hey, this is all great, but I have my own designs, right? I want to pull in my own Figma design into a Lovable project. And if you're one of those people, guess what? You can do that easily as well. Just a few steps, a little bit more complicated, but nothing too crazy. I left you a design example right here for you, all of you to just reuse if you want to, just for this particular lesson. Word of advice here before you begin. Don't go crazy. Don't have 50 screens. Just get one. Smaller one, couple of sections, because the tool that I'm going to use is powerful, but it's not crazy powerful, right? It's powerful enough to replicate the basic guidelines, and then you can continue rebuilding things as you go, right? So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to click on this design, and then I need to be able to trigger a plugin, which I have previously activated. If you haven't, in the additional resources, you can find it right here. It's a free plugin, right? That is called Figroot. And it's very powerful in the sense that it can do a free Figma to code and uses React, which is pretty rare. Most others are able to extract HTML and CSS, which, it's pretty amazing that this is possible. So what I'm going to do is once you install it, just select your entire design, right click, and then from there, go to the plugins section and just initiate Figroot, right? As soon as you do this, you should see that it has this entire design as a single file along with the font files. So what I'm doing from here is I'm downloading this file in particular, right? And then I'm downloading images because it exports images as a zip file as well. I'm trying to get all the assets from this Figma file so that I can reuse them in Lovable. And then I'm copying the fonts and the layout because that you can paste in, right? Again, lovable.dev. And I know this may be harder to follow, but this is, again, an advanced lesson for people that are using Figma every day. They will probably be able to reuse this or redo this. For those of you that are not, just simply pause after each step, and don't worry, I'll make sure to recap if you lost me anywhere along the way. The first step that I've done, as you can see right here, based on the export of the code, is I added the fonts because I want to use the same fonts, right? So I added those here. That's my first part of the prompt. The second part is that code file that I downloaded. So now I'm uploading that here as well. The third part, the third ingredient are going to be images, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click again and then copy this entire design as PNG, because you can do that. And I'm going to just dump that right in. Now, because that is a big file, I know this may look like an overkill, and you don't have to do all of these steps. I just like to. I just kind of want to be certain that I'm doing this the right way, I'm also going to break down this entire website into smaller chunks. So what I'm doing right now, effectively, if you cannot see this on my screen, is I'm taking screenshots as I'm talking so that I can take maybe 4 or 5 of them and just like provide them as a reference. So I'm going to upload my hero section right beneath it, maybe section right beneath it. Okay, I just took 3. You should take the entire page. So as you can see, I added 3 screenshots. I added the 4th one, which has the entire page, and I added the entire code, right? Awesome. A lot of references, but I still didn't do the main one, which is asking Lovable to replicate it, right? So I'm going to go back to the companion app, right? And then just go to the prompts, and I am going to ask Lovable again to replicate this design exactly as it looks like, right? Now, because this is a sales page, I'm just going to delete this. I'm going to say landing page exactly, right? And I'm going to remove this, right? And I pasted in all the generated code. So again, combination of code, screenshots, prompts with a proper Figma export can help you replicate your designs pixel perfect. Now, there were some other images that I downloaded along the way in the file as well. So if you can't fit it all in the same prompt because there's 10 images or whatnot, you'll be able to add those in later, right? For now, I'm just trying to teach you how to do this by yourself. Let's go back to the design that we replicated via HTML just to confirm that it indeed looks exactly the way the other one does, right? The text is irrelevant. I can now say something like, okay, let's rebuild this. So it actually talks about my business, and my business is mostly about teaching other people how to use Lovable. I want you to redesign it by also generating new images using AI so that they fit the narrative of the page. It is supposed to be educational. It should feel lightweight, quick, short, and promptly push people towards taking action. Right? I can just completely change the narrative in a single prompt while keeping the same design. I never said that I want a different design. I just wanted a different narrative around the page, right? Let's recap real quick because this has been a lot, right? If we go back to the resources, we started the lesson with the premise of you have code, you might as well start building with it, right? 3 different HTML templates for you to preview, decide which one you like or to download. If you want to use any of them, combine them with this first prompt or combine them with this one, right? Doesn't matter, right? You can copy this one and just completely implement it like that. That is the end result by doing this step, right? Looks amazing. Doesn't look AI generated at all, right? And now as we are talking, Lovable is already making changes to adapt it to my new use case, right? Which is probably the next step that you should have done, right? I've only did it afterwards because I didn't want to wait for the first generation. What I did instead was I started working on this one. The way I started exporting the design from Figma is, again, right click, plugins. Once you installed Figroot, Figroot triggers the ability to download a page in the form of code, right? You can take and add fonts. If it doesn't load it properly in full, make sure to verify that. I think in my first attempt, it probably didn't. Like you can click on, let's say, hero, and then switch over to home. Once you do that, it should hopefully load everything else up for you. That's when you download the code. You go into Lovable and dump that code file along with images and font related code snippets. And by doing so, you go from designing something like this using just AI, right, to designing something like this, right? So it's still rewriting the copy, Let's see what we have here, right? It isn't pixel perfect because we didn't download the images, but look, fonts are there, text is there. This already looks great to me. Now your job is quite honestly just updating the images, which is, by the way, the easiest part. The hard part for me is always nailing down that look and the feel. So that's why I resort to libraries. That's why I try to find free Figma templates. And you can just Google this, like free Figma templates for X. You find them, you go, export, import in here, and then rebuild your own thing. But you're not starting from zero and you're not starting from an AI prompt, right? Let's go back here and verify that indeed this is now a Lovable Academy page all of a sudden, right? So in just 2 prompts, I'm already pretty far ahead of what a traditional AI generated website would look like. That's at least my opinion. Maybe we'll disagree on this one, but I feel like it's already looking a little bit better with a couple of more tweaks here and there. I can perfect it and make it look even nicer. Right. So that's the main lesson for today for those of you that know what you want to build, right? Figma to code or Aura.build, it doesn't matter. Find existing templates, right? And the real lesson here, because now we've covered all different ways to start, is that there's no correct one, really. There's only what you know, what you don't know, and how much ambiguity you're willing to tolerate, right? Starting from code is just simply how you say that you're done guessing with things, right? And however you start, you're on the right track. Tomorrow, we're going to go and take a couple of steps back. Now that we've started all of these projects, let's talk about the tool itself. I'm going to do my best to explain you this busy, helpful interface that Lovable has, that which will be your best friend throughout all the future builds. See you tomorrow.